Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a first impressions video on this foundation right here, and this one's by Rimmel London, and this is their Match Perfection foundation. So this is a reformulated version, and I'm also going to do a first impressions on their new primer. So this is the bottle. So I forgot to film an intro for this video, so this is how it looks like after a number of hours of wearing it. So let's get on to the video. Okay, so this is how my skin looks like. As you can see, not perfect whatsoever. So yeah, I'm going to first start off with the primer. And I'm only going to apply it to the top half of my face to kind of make it sort of like an equal opportunity type video, just because I'm going to be using a brush on this side and a sponge on this side, and I get oily on the forehead, the nose and the chin, just to see how long the foundation wears with a primer and without the primer. So this one is very liquidy. As you can see, it's running down my hand and it's white, so let's see how this goes. And this primer also has SPF. I'll do some more research to see if it's broad spectrum, so if you can just skip using an SPF and just rely on this. So just on the top half of my face. It has a smell. It's like sort of like a citrusy chemical synthetic smell, if that makes sense. So I've applied the primer. As you guys can see, it's kind of left a bit of a white cast on the skin. So I don't know how that's going to work in photographs, but we'll see. As per usual, I'm just going to apply a bit of beard cover on my 5 o'clock shadow because that's just what I normally would do, and we'll see how well the foundation goes on top of this. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the foundation, and again my shade is 400 Natural Beige. As you can see, this foundation is slightly darker than my skin tone, maybe 1-2 shades darker, but that's okay because we're heading into summer and I know I'm going to get a tan soon. And this foundation has a pump. I did actually swatch this on my face when I first received it just to see if I could actually work with it and whether or not I'm going to do a video, but yeah, works okay. So let's do this. So that's how the foundation looks like. It's not very runny. It's kind of like a mix between a liquid and a mousse foundation, and the smell very reminiscent, oh I got some on my nose I think, very reminiscent of the Rimmel Wake Me Up foundation. So I'm going to be using the beauty blender on this side of my face and a brush on this side. So that was just one pump, and I'm pretty much just using it all on just one side of my face. Okay, so that's how one layer looks like with just the beauty sponge, and it's definitely giving me more of a light medium finish. Okay, so taking another pump of the foundation, I'm going to use this brush by Real Techniques, and this is the Expert Face Brush. Okay, so that's one layer with the brush, and from what I can tell, it's still light medium, but a little bit more coverage compared to the sponge. The sponge is a little bit sheerer, but in terms of coverage, they're pretty close. So I'm just going to apply another layer with the brush, and then I'll go back with. Okay, so this is how 2 layers look like with both methods, and honestly, not much difference in terms of coverage. It looks pretty much medium all over. I would just say that this doesn't look like it's part of the skin, whereas the sponge obviously makes it look like it's part of the skin, but otherwise they look really good. I did notice, my voice is going, the fine lines on my forehead, the foundation doesn't really sit well, even with the primer, on the fine lines on my forehead on the brush side, whereas on the sponge side it looks a lot better. So I don't know, I'm a bit conflicted because I get a little bit more coverage with the brush, but it looks more perfect with the sponge. So I'm just going to apply some concealer underneath the eyes, and I'll set the makeup. Okay, so the foundation and the concealer have been set, and it's now 10:30 in the morning. I had to use the Ben Nye Banana Luxury Powder because when I compared it to my arms without the yellow powder, it looked a little bit pink still, like I looked a bit sunburned, but it wasn't like too pink. It was just that tiny bit pink that it looked a little bit off compared to the rest of my body. So if you can compare it to my arms, as you can see, it's quite yellow based. Well, yellow based. It's yellow. So I had to use some yellow powder to just kind of balance things out. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the coverage. Okay, so I've just sprayed the makeup setting spray. It's now 10:46 in the morning. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep on doing the rest of my makeup, but you guys know the base is done pretty much. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next clip. I am back and it is 6:59, so let's just say 7 PM. So I've been pretty busy. I've been out and about and it's been a really warm day, quite hot. I was also on a tram and it was quite humid in there. Anyhow, TMI, this is how the foundation looks like after this number of hours. I don't know, I'm tired, I'm not going to count it, but it's on the screen. So, what have I done to my face since then? I've only really just blotted with my fingers really around the nose because it was getting a tiny bit shiny. But, you know, I looked at my face when I got back home and, well, here's a close-up now, and I must say the foundation wears nicer throughout the day. Like when you first apply it and when you apply the powder, it just kind of looks, I don't know, it's like too made up, whereas now it looks, you know, you can see a bit of wear in the foundation, but it looks more at one with the skin. It's hard to describe. I don't know how to describe it, but it just looks nicer. All I'm saying. In terms of lasting coverage, I think it's good. Around my 5 o'clock shadow, it's starting to wear off a tiny bit. I didn't apply any more concealer, just the corrector, but that's just normal for me because obviously its hair grows throughout the day, so I wouldn't expect the coverage to be completely flawless for the rest of the day, but yeah. The rest of my face makeup is still there. The bronzer, contour, highlight, as you can see, bam girl, it's still there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. So at this point, my foundation still looks good. I would probably just need to use a mattifying powder like this one from NYX, or blotting sheets, and then just maybe a bit of a finishing spray again, or just some sort of like refreshing spray. And I think this makeup could last another like 3 or 4 hours before it just, you know, completely goes. But overall, I'm still really happy with how it looks. Okay, so let's go back to the promises of the foundation. So it says 24-hour moisture hydration. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't feel like this foundation's drying on the skin, and it didn't really accentuate any of the fine lines. It's only just here. This part's just, if I don't use a proper primer or just use a lot of moisturizer there, it's just going to show regardless. Pore blurring effect, so it didn't really claim to be like absolutely flawless, no pores. Blurring effect, not really, because I can still see it, so I'd still have to use a primer there. It says invisible coverage, visibly perfected skin. In the beginning I would say yes, it looks like that, especially with the side with the sponge, but now looking at it, I wouldn't say it's invisible coverage. I mean, I don't think you could ever get a medium coverage foundation to look like skin without looking like foundation, if that makes sense. Let's see, I think that's pretty much all the promises at the moment. It says weightless as well. I wear foundation pretty much all the time and I can't really tell anymore if I've got product on my face. It's just been cake face all the time. Anyhow, that is my first impressions of this foundation. If you guys have tried out the new formula, let me know what your thoughts are, and if you've tried out the old formula and you've got the new formula, let me know how let me know what you think about the new formula, because I never got a chance to try out the original formula because those ones were too pink for me. But yeah, don't forget to thumbs up this video if you found it helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. These are the only ones I can find at the moment. But yeah, I really like MAC lipsticks. They're really good, they're really pigmented, at least the finishes that I've chosen are really pigmented, and they've lasted quite some time.